What happens when men suddenly stop being available to females? You might think it has nothing to do with you, unless you are one of those females, but we're talking about a massive paradigm shift that could completely change the world as we know it. We're talking about something so big that even if you're not a female, your life will never be the same again. So what is this secret, and what can you do about it? Well, let me tell you. This is a quote from famed psychologist Carl Jung, who said when men stop being available to females, everything changes. Before we dive into this profound statement, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos on self-improvement, relationships, and success. Also, stick around until the end of this video, because I am going to share with you a bonus tip that will change your life forever. Now let's get back to the topic at hand. Why does everything change when men stop being available to women? The first reason is that it forces women to redefine their value. Most women are used to getting attention from men, because they have been socialized to believe that this is what makes them valuable. When men stop being available, they are forced to redefine their value in terms of other things such as their accomplishments, personality, or sense of humor. This is not necessarily a bad thing, as it can lead to personal growth and a greater sense of self-worth. However, it can be difficult and painful for women who are not used to thinking of themselves in this way. They may feel like they are not enough or that they don't matter. It is important to remember that everyone has value no matter what, and that this is not true. The second reason is that it leads to a more realistic view of men. Many women have unrealistic expectations of men based on what they see in the media, or what they have been told by society. When men stop being available, it can be a wake-up call that not all men are like the ones they have been led to believe. They may start to see men as more flawed human beings, rather than these perfect beings that they have been led to believe. This can be a good thing, as it can lead to more realistic and healthy relationships. However, it can also be a bad thing if the woman becomes too cynical or bitter about men. The third reason is that it creates a power vacuum. When men are not available, there is a power vacuum that emerges. This can be filled by other men or by women. If women are able to fill this power vacuum, it can lead to more opportunities for them in traditionally male-dominated fields. This can also lead to more respect from men. However, if the power vacuum is filled by other men, it can lead to more conflict between men and women. The fourth reason is that it leads to more competition among women. When men are scarce, women have to compete with each other for their attention. This can lead to more catty behavior and a general nastiness among women. However, this is not always a bad thing, as it can lead to personal growth. If a woman is able to come out on top, she may become more confident and assertive. The fifth reason is that it causes people to reevaluate their priorities. When men are not available, people have to reevaluate their priorities and figure out what is really important to them. This can be a good thing, as it can lead to more meaningful relationships and a greater sense of purpose. However, it can also be a bad thing if the person starts to become more selfish or self-centered. The sixth reason is that it leads to more loneliness. When men are not available, people may feel more lonely and isolated. This is because they may not have the same support system that they once did. They may also feel like they are competing against each other for attention. This can lead to more superficial relationships and a general feeling of isolation. However, this is not always a bad thing, as it can lead to personal growth. If a person is able to use their loneliness to fuel their success, they may become more motivated and driven. And finally, the seventh reason is that it leads to more change in general. When men are not available, everything changes. People have to reevaluate their priorities, their relationships, and themselves. This can lead to a lot of change in a short period of time. This can be a good thing, as it can lead to personal growth and a better future. However, it can also be a bad thing if the person is not able to handle all of the change. So what can you do about this? The first thing is to prepare yourself mentally. You need to be prepared for the possibility that men may not be as available in the future as they have been in the past. This may be difficult to hear, but it is important to be prepared. The second step is to redefine your value. You need to find other things that make you feel valuable and important. This may take some time and effort, but it is worth it. The third step is to get real about men. You need to understand that they are not perfect and that they have flaws, just like you do. This may be hard to accept, but it is important to remember. The fourth step is to be wary of other women. Not all women will be friendly and helpful. Some may try to take advantage of you. Be careful. The fifth step is to evaluate your priorities. Make sure that you are putting your energy into the things that are most important to you. This may mean saying no to some things, but it is important to focus on what really matters. The sixth step is to be prepared to be lonely. You may not always have the support of others. Be prepared to rely on yourself. And the seventh step is to be prepared for change. Things will change and you need to be flexible. This may be difficult, but it is important to go with the flow. By following these steps, you can be prepared for the possibility that men may not be as available in the future as they have been in the past. This may be difficult to hear, but it is important to be prepared. Men have always been the pursuers, but times are changing. Women now have more opportunities and more power than ever before, and as a result, men are finding it more difficult to pursue them. Men are used to being the ones in control, but they're starting to find that women are not as passive as they once were. Women are now more likely to reject men's advances and to demand more from their relationships. Men are struggling to keep up with these changes, and many of them are simply giving up. This is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it could be a good thing for both men and women. Men and women are starting to see each other as equals, and this is leading to more balanced and healthy relationships. However, this does not mean that things will be easy. Men and women will have to work harder to maintain their relationships, and they will have to be willing to compromise. As I mentioned earlier, there is a bonus tip that I want to share with you. This tip is something that has been taught to successful men for centuries, and it is the art of becoming a 3% man. A 3% man is a man who is highly skilled in all areas of life. He is a leader, a provider, and he is a protector. To become a 3% man, you must first become 1% in all areas of your life. This means that you must become 1% better at everything you do every single day. When you become 1% better at everything you do, you will soon be 3% better than 99% of men. And this is where the real power lies. This is where you will truly become unstoppable. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos on self-improvement, relationships, and success.